It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
Lending rates up 16% now from investors, with roughly 39% of home loans being issued along the investment lines. So the attractive investment opportunity that this beautiful state offers is definitely drawing interstate investors in.
And that is Mike Drennan, and he is in Adelaide on the Real Estate Breakfast this morning, right around Australia 7 days a week, as we continue to talk about your property news, trends, market fluctuations. Seems to be plenty of different fluctuations going on in different markets, and with over 1,400 property podcasts, you too can keep pace of what is happening in your local suburb. And remember, there are over 15,000 different suburbs around Australia. We're working through them one at a time. Well, it's a Tuesday morning, October the 21st. Australia's unemployment rate, now that has surged to a 4-year high of 4.5%. What is that doing in turn? Well, it is putting pressure on the Reserve Bank of Australia to deliver another interest rate cut in November. While a fourth cut this year could ease mortgage stress for some, economists are warning that it may fuel property prices even higher. And some are saying that the market is already supercharged and cheaper borrowing could make it harder for first home buyers. I mean, it's such a talking point whether or not we're going to get that rate cut between now and the end of the year. Let's go to Adelaide right now and catch up with Mike Drennan from Century 21 there, and a very good morning to you, Mike. Welcome to the Real Estate Breakfast. Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Are we going to get another rate cut between now and the end of the year? What do you think?
Morning, Craig. Thanks for having me on. Either way, whether we get it or not, I'd have to say that the market here in Adelaide is already charged. You use that term, and I think it's 100% correct. We've seen up to 50 people through an open inspection for well-priced, well-presented family homes on this site.
Yeah, it's still very, very popular, and we'll talk about the migration in just a moment and how many of those calls you're getting. But I do want to just highlight the fact that you have been running your own business there for Century 21, but you've only been in Adelaide for 2 years. So tell us a little bit of your backstory here, Mike. You came in from South Africa.
That's correct. Originally from Johannesburg, owned and operated a real estate agency in Joburg. Roughly 2 years ago, my wife and my 2 beautiful kids and I landed here in Adelaide. We dived straight in and bought the Century 21 franchise here in the city, and all guns blazing so far.
All guns blazing. Now, had you been to Adelaide prior to just upending out of Joburg into Australia?
Craig, when we landed in Adelaide, we knew 2 people. We hadn't before, but it was the right move for us. The situation in South Africa, unfortunately, has been deteriorating. It was time to relocate to greener pastures.
So what made you settle out of any city around Australia? What was it about Adelaide that said, you know what, I think we're going to move there?
It really does offer a lot. It's the perfect balance between a big and small city, if that makes sense. It's often referred to as a big country town. It ticks all the boxes if you relocate in with a family. You're 20 minutes away from the beach. The city is big enough to provide a lot of opportunity, but not that big that you have congested traffic and all the problems that come with a large city. The beautiful hills are only 20 minutes away. Schooling's fantastic. There's a great sense of community here in South Australia. For us, it was a no-brainer, and we're very, very happy that we chose Adelaide.
Mate, you're sounding like a local that's been living there for 30 years.
The accent gives me away. I'm very proud to be here in South Australia and calling it my home.
Now, what about back home? When you said to your friends and family, hey, we're upending and we're going to Adelaide, probably many would say, where's that?
There were a few comments along those lines. In South Africa at the moment, immigration and migration is a constant talking point. So South Africans traditionally have always preferred moving to Australia because we're so aligned in both culturally and in our way of life, I suppose. So people are very familiar with Australia, and most people knew Adelaide.
Oh, that's good to hear. And let's just talk about the migrants, because you were telling me off here the amount of phone calls that you are getting on a daily basis from migrants wanting properties, etc. Tell us what's going on in that space, because you sound incredibly busy.
Absolutely. I get phone calls all day, every day from migrants looking both to rent property and to purchase. And that's ongoing.
And what are some of the hard luck stories? I guess you've heard a few of those coming through your door.
There have been a few people that have obviously had decisions and leave family and friends behind, relocate to Australia and start their lives again. But at the same time, generally, the people you're dealing with that have been lucky enough to call this beautiful country home are incredibly happy and excited to start a new life in a place like this.
Well, it's an interesting story, and we are talking to Mike on our Tuesday. He has been just 2 years in Adelaide, landed, only knew 2 people, started there at Century 21, bought the franchise. Good on you, Mike. We're going to catch up with some more of your thoughts around the first home young investors in Adelaide, and there still seems to be plenty of appetite for interstate investors. We'll talk about that after this.
Listen to expert perspectives with exclusive real estate conversations and supercharge your knowledge base with us.
Now, I want to segue into people getting involved in the real estate industry. It is extremely competitive. There is thousands of real estate people that they move into real estate from various different positions and backgrounds. You've got professional people, you've got blue collar, you name it. You've probably seen it all sort of knocking on your door for jobs over the years.
Oh, absolutely. Things have certainly changed in my time during my stint in real estate. We've certainly seen, a broad range of people from different industries, and we're seeing really white-collar professionals. Some lawyers have entered into our business looking for a change of scenery, something a bit more local, not having to trudge into the city and grind away in that corporate life. Yeah, I think what we are seeing is people have this perception that real estate agents make easy money, and the reality, as we know, is that it is hard work. You have to stay the distance and be pretty dedicated, and the hard grind is the way you pave the rewards for future business and things like that. So it's interesting. You get a lot of people that come in and think it's going to be easy, and they quite quickly drop out because they haven't got, I guess, the ethic or the patience to grind away and reap the rewards ultimately.
You say that word, grind it out. I think that's the key. That probably needs to be highlighted more than ever when people are looking to go into the real estate industry. It is very much a grind. That first 2 years is a really big mountain to climb, which is the reason why over 80% of people are actually failing in the first 12 months. What are you seeing for 2025 with people's attitude around real estate and getting stuck in?
Yeah, look, I think we're certainly seeing a lot more optimism in terms of our sales people, our sales team. I think people since COVID, we're seeing more flexibility in my business now. We have a lot of female people working within our sales department, and a lot of them are mums as well. So what we've had to adapt to in terms of our business is having that degree of flexibility of allowing people to have that work-life balance.
We are more than just a real estate podcast. We cover a multitude of subjects, including property data, current buyer-seller sentiment, and the mood of the market. Follow each week all of the main talking points and know your property.
And it is a Real Estate Tuesday right around Australia with the Real Estate Breakfast. And don't forget about the luxury market in Adelaide. I see that there's a beachfront mansion in Christie's Beach. That has got a price ticket of $5 million, more than double the suburb's prior record, and plenty of interest in that. Now, talking of buying, Mike is with us there in Adelaide. Tell us a little bit about what's happening with the interstate investors at the moment, because they're still contacting you, they're still wanting product.
Absolutely, Craig. Still massive demand for interstate investors. Lending rates up 16% now from investors, with roughly 39% of home loans being issued along the investment lines. So the attractive investment opportunity that this beautiful state offers is definitely drawing interstate investors in.
Oh, I should mention too, make sure that you pay your rate. Salisbury Council is auctioning 2 properties to recover unpaid rates. Properties will be sold as is with minimal access granted before the sale. Yes, councils, they don't muck around when it comes to those rates. First home young investors. This is also showing up on your radar where the younger investor is there looking for stock.
That is correct. We recently sold one to a couple in Golden Grove, 24 years of age, purchasing their second investment property. Strong rental yields making this possible. Loads of enthusiasm from young people to get onto the property ladder, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, that's what you want, is lots of enthusiasm. And before I wrap it up, I should make mention of a 27.3 hectare parcel of land in Gulwa, which is proposed for rezoning to allow mixed-use development with 400 homes, retail and commercial users, and 15% affordable housing. So that is something, I know that's a little bit off the beaten trail where you are, but it's always good to see some of these land holdings open up.
That's correct. And Gore is a beautiful part of South Australia, so maybe we can get involved there down the line.
And the interest rate, of course, which was that talking point when we first started, what do you think is going to happen between now and the end of the year? Do you think we're likely to see another cut?
I don't think they'll cut. I think it will be held over.
All right then, Mike. Well, great to catch up. Nice to hear your story as an immigrant deciding to get out of Joburg into Adelaide. 2 years. It sounds like you are thriving there at Century 21. Enjoy your Tuesday there in Adelaide, and thanks for coming on to the Real Estate Breakfast. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Craig.
We dive deep into topics like buying, selling, investing, and maximising your property's value, from mortgage advice to the latest property data and trending numbers. Your real estate journey starts here.
We've seen a big shift over the last quarter, really, surrounding interstate investors. We had a time there where investors were few and far between, but I think the perception out there overall is that Melbourne's perhaps perceived as good value, and really the state that has probably the highest upswing moving forward. And so, yes, it has left, a lot of investors have left the marketplace over the last 2, 3, 4 years, but we're starting to see the tide turn on that, and we're starting to see more and more investment, particularly coming out of New South Wales. I've just sold a property yesterday to a lady from Queensland who's looking for an investment. We had one last week, a couple from Perth looking to buy an investment. So yeah, we're seeing all different tentacles across the country coming back to Melbourne now.
Yeah, this article, it was talking about Milson's Point and the unit market there. Some of the units originally sold off the plan to international buyers, now facing higher stamp duty costs. They give an example of a unit that was bought for $3.1 million off the plan, resold for $2.55 million.
That sadly is not an uncommon story, the example that you just gave then. I could give you plenty of examples. There was one recently that we saw that was a 1-bedroom apartment that was originally bought off the plan for $770,000. They've gone and sold it for $495,000. That's obviously a pretty significant war story, but not uncommon. Sadly, when buying off the plan, often the salespeople will encourage you to compare other apartments within the development rather than other apartments in the rest of the market.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.